There we go.
We're live.
We are live. Hello.
Rocking out to that.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I know.
no,
I had to
dance
turn
party.
down the volume on my headphones. So I was like, this is a lot for my little ears right now. Oh, man. All right. Ben, how would you like to do this? I'm going to put you in the middle because you're the
You all take psychic damage and die.
Ah.
That's how I'd like to
Here
do
we
this.
go.
Presumably, it's some sort of dad joke. I don't know. You can use your imaginations. Well, I mean, I sent this all to you guys earlier, but I think it probably isn't terrible to sort of, kind of go back to it to just kind of like refresh y'all's memory. And then have a conversation about things. I don't intend too much for us to get like really into a whole lot of RP unless you guys are like really feeling it. You're like, oh wait, these characters definitely I want to like have them talk and like kind of get a sense of things, and maybe that'll help you flesh out your character backgrounds a little bit. Up to you. But yeah, maybe like before we do anything else, let's talk a little bit about exactly what's going on and who everyone is and why we're all here in this room and who all these beautiful people are, right? So I guess I'll sort of like kick things off here a little bit. So we're going to do sort of character creation and probably a little bit of world building tonight. And I am joined by the cast of what will be our ongoing campaign here on AP. I'm going to be DMing, hence the little thingy there next to my name. Who do we want to popcorn this? So I'll pick who goes next, then we can all sort of bump around and choose who's going to introduce themselves. That sound good to everybody?
Sure.
Sounds
All right.
splendid.
I'm going to pick on the person who is newest. So Alex.
That's me.
Tell us
Hey,
about
y'all.
yourself.
Hey y'all. I am definitely newest to this. I have never streamed a D&D campaign before, so this is going to be an exciting first. I live in Brooklyn. I know Katie and Ben. Well, I know Katie from college, from London, where we studied acting together, which I hope will be beneficial for the rest of this campaign. And here I am, ready to hang out and learn and observe and have a good time.
Amazing. And who would you like to have introduce themselves next?
Yes, popcorn. What about Zeki? Oh, you muted.
All right. Hey, everybody. Name is Zektown. I will be very excited to see where this campaign takes us. I get to be a player. I'm not DMing yet. Who knows what'll happen?
Spoilers.
Who knows what will happen? Truly, we don't even know what will happen. We're just starting to get into it. I know Ben from back in our college days, as well as some of I know Omar from other outside D&D stuff. That's how we kind of became friends. And everybody else, I've kind of recently acquainted along the way, very, very happily, I might add. And I think that's all. Is there anything else I need to introduce? I have no idea what kind of character I'm building yet. I'm like staring at this screen right now, and it's a big question mark. I tend to kind of pick my character based on what everybody else is doing. Like, I feel like I always end up being like the last one to be like, all right, well, I'll round out the group by doing X. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, actually, I think for those of you that don't yet know what your character is going to be, or maybe those of you that do, if you want to like share that, or maybe share sort of like somewhat of your philosophy when you are creating a character, whether it's like, I don't know, I get wicked high and then I see what pops into my brain, which is totally reasonable, right? Like, absolutely. Or maybe you're a little bit more methodical.
Well, for me, I will fall back on Jim Butcher, the author, the best-selling author, that ideas are cheap. So I will, not that they are to be forgotten about and that they're not important, but that they should come freely and you shouldn't get stuck on one particular one. So I will probably just see where it takes me as I'm starting to look at everything, and that's where it's going to go.
Cool.
Wicked.
Popcorn.
I will popcorn it over to Omar, actually, since I was just talking about him.
Oh, awesome. Well, hope you guys can hear me well. I was doing a little issues with my mic earlier. But hi, I'm Omar. I am the Tail Weaver from A Tale of D20. So I've been DMing for a while now, and I am super excited to finally be a player. And I know Ben is an amazing dungeon master, so I know this is going to be great. I know exactly who I want to be. My character is, I feel like there's some secrets there, but what I can tell you, because you'll find it out quickly, that my character is going to be, with Ben's permission, of course, a bugbear. But of course, I don't know if bugbears are going to be nay in public society or not. But think of him as like, personality wise, think of him like Beast from X-Men, very intelligent and very learned, but he don't mess with in battle, because I'm thinking about doing a monk.
Ooh, all right.
Ooh.
With and he has a tragic backstory.
I
So
love
Ooh.
tragedy.
We love a little drama.
oh god, I love drama. But to everyone else, he's just a kind, friendly, if you're not afraid of bugbears, he's well groomed, wears dapper shirts, and talks. I'm still working on the voice, but he'll definitely talk with a very dapper accent and be very proud and learned and wise, as of course monks have to be wise, since they are both dex and wisdom based. And I am just stoked because, like Zeki said, I'm finally a player. As a forever tail weaver, it is nice to finally hop into the seat of some dice rolling player. Although I have played with Katie as the Opera House, which is fantastic as Amir. So I'm bringing like that kind of energy to this character.
Cool.
But super excited. Plus, I'm also trying out like a new build that I thought of. So it's not going to just end with monk, but we'll see how it works.
Cool.
All right, so popcorn, pop over to Ryan.
Hi. I met Katie and Ben very recently through a mutual friend that I used to play Frisbee with, that they kind of knew through similar channels. Barely, because they don't play, but they have partied with us all. And quickly become fast enough friends that they literally came to my wedding at last minute notice. And we're all still recovering. I have a literally recovering. I have a rough idea of what we're doing tonight. My go-to character creation is that the now wife comes up with kind of an idea. I tell her what we're doing and she comes up with an idea, and then I build it within a system. So I have kind of her thrown at me like 3 to 4 sentences, what she thinks would be super fun to play. And I will be building that and fleshing that out tonight. And that's literally
so cool.
how I feel almost all of my characters. She refuses to play. She will never. That's her piece.
We'll work on that. We'll get there.
We'll get there. I'll get her someday. She'll just be a fighter and whack things with a stick. And I will send it over to Rachel.
Hello, the tubes.
Hello,
the
tubes.
Again. Listen, I know how to carry a bit forever. I'll take it to all the campaigns. It's my duty.
Will never die.
The tubes will never. The tubes are where it's at.
I'm just gonna. I'm gonna put that right into the thing right now. I gotta have tubes in this world
Something
somehow.
about tubes, you know.
It's going in the to-do list.
I'm here to ruin things. Can you tell? Hello, everyone. I am Rachel, new attendee here at the Court of Amateurish Productions. I stumbled into this greatness through the aid of the wonderful Patrick Edwards. Shouts to that incredible being. And I've been very fortunate to play under Zeki's wonderful DMing as well as Katie's in the current one shots that are in 6 or 7 sessions, probably. Who knows?
I mean,
the-
Chaos
the-
Ladies is
the
no
Chaos-
longer.
Chaos Ladies is a
We're
fucking
always
campaign.
really-
Yeah, it's really happening. The Chaos Ladies are forever. They will never die, no matter how many mimics you throw at them. As well as the Opera House campaign with Omar. I am coming into this as I come into many things. I don't know what I'm doing, but we're gonna choose what's fun overall, and hopefully that works. Follow the fun. That's what I like to do with my characters. And usually a fun is a spellcaster. I can't not. I want to throw spells.
Super fire.
Yeah.
Always try muscle wizard who casts fist. I'm just saying.
Listen, I did just pro wrestle for the first time this weekend. So
Woo!
don't threaten me with a good time.
Ooh.
It might be too much to be like, and my character's a wrestler. Seems strange, but it's like, no, I'm really a wrestler though.
I'm sure we could make it work.
We'll see. If it's the most fun option, we'll go with it, you know. All right. I need to bounce it to someone who still needs a bounce.
I think it's literally just me.
Yeah.
Tell
Who are
them
you?
about yourself.
Yeah.
Katie.
I'm Katie. Everyone has said how they've met me except for Ben, who I met on Hinge, which is very cool and sexy and stuff.
Not sexy. It's an app.
And
It does
I
work.
I have some ideas about this character. I kind of had a bit of a like character creation aha moment earlier today before I got on the treadmill. And I think, I mean, we can get into it a little bit more as we chat through everything, but I think she's going to be a relatively young mother with an I don't know if estranged is the right word. A husband who has essentially taken the children and she is trying to get back to them. I have a lot of other things sort of percolating in my brain, but that's sort of where I'm sitting. And I think she's also going to be a cleric druid multi-class, which should be fun.
Cool.
Yes. Benjamin,
Yeah. So
tell us what the fuck you want us to do.
I probably should have prepared for this. But I think to start, I'll just, for the sake of the folks watching to have an idea, like a little bit of a little bit of insight into the world that we're going to be stepping into in the coming months. One sort of like high level thing is that we're planning on the world of Mitra, which is the title. It was Naraya initially, and then it got changed, so it's Mitra now, which is shortened from Dimitra, which I believe means mother in ancient Greek. So maybe it's just Ther now.
The world of
The
the
word of Ther. That's not quite how translation works, I don't think, but we're going to roll with it. So I want to give you guys just like a little bit of a snippet, and this is what I shared with the group earlier today, which is just call it like 3.5 paragraphs of information that kind of set a little bit of a mood. So the world of Mitra is incredibly magical. So even the most untalented magical users are reasonably adept. Mechanically, what this means for our players is that as they are creating their characters in D&D Beyond, which is what we're going to be using because it's a wonderful way to share content, is that each of them is going to be able to select a magic adept feat for free. This is the kind of thing where like even little kids know a couple of cantrips. It's that magical. The last half century or so, society has been making some pretty significant strides. And so the marriage of science and technology has allowed for a lot of the, sort of like the things that plague populations to be eradicated and improving, sort of like a very much, as opposed to trickle down, sort of a rising water lifts all ships kind of deal. Magic is considered very much a science. So as opposed to science and magic being sort of studied separately, they're very much joined. And the way that they are studied is very similarly. So, you apply the scientific method to not just your sort of traditional sciences, but also to magic. And new discoveries sort of happen on a daily basis. There are a lot of institutions of higher learning There's a lot of access to libraries and arcanums with all of this, like, these massive amounts of information to be had about, not just like current events, but also things that have happened in the past, which may or may not be consequential. We'll find out. That's going to depend very much on our players. So, of course, as great as anything may seem on paper, when you throw greed into the mix, things don't usually go so swimmingly. So, not everybody is totally on board with this idea of sort of everyone's quality of life improving. Some people think that they are maybe more entitled to their quality of life improving more than others. And this could be, magic users. It may be business moguls, because we do have this sort of intermingling of the two. And then there are some people who just really, really want to be doing well. And if that comes at the cost of other people's success, maybe that reminds you of, I don't know, some people who've been in the recent social spotlight in the real world. There's some of those too, because shitty people exist everywhere. The good news is, as we sort of settle into this world and the session at the same time in a lot of ways, that the opportunity to have a massive impact on history or sort of society in a more current space is open to anyone. If you are willing to work hard enough, dedicate yourself, and in some cases just get like a little bit lucky. So that is the world of Mitchell that we're stepping into. I have a map, which I will, let me do a quick little screen share here so that everyone can see.
Ooh.
Yeah, pull StreamYard over to a different window so I can pop this sucker up, because it's a big old map. So you guys can see. Share this. Move that screen. So here we are. And for those who aren't familiar, I recently found this Asgard.github.io fantasy map generator. It is incredible. If you, like me, are not a cartographer and also have negative ability to draw, this is just incredible. Huge, huge gift to those of us out here who lack those skills. You can see all sorts of things. So I got a bunch of things here, and I actually have not decided where it is that we are going to begin. Which maybe that'll be something that kind of comes up as we delve into backstories and have some conversations about where people think they might be from. We've got some theocracies, we've got duchies, we've got kingdoms, we've got what do we got here? One of these is I actually had to look this word up. Essentially when you have when one country more or less controls another, it starts with an S maybe? Sucrine, a succotash, a sacros.
Studio.
None of those
Who
words
made
are
this?
correct. And so there's some political things that are already going on in the world, as well as all these fun little, there's an entrancing mirage. What does that mean? Will we ever find out? We have a floodplain. There is a rebellion that's going on. So there's all sorts of things that are already happening in the world, and whether or not our players ever end up in those parts of the world to engage with or maybe see the aftermath of these things, you'll be very much up to them. So I'll stop screen sharing for a moment.
Looks so neat.
Yeah, it's cool stuff.
So cool.
Been finding all these new things that I never knew about that I am now how did I live without this?
I had a thought, Ben, and you can
Yeah.
totally say no because you're the DM and this
No.
is your moment to shine. But do you want to maybe spend, I don't know, 5 minutes with each person, just sort of chatting through character ideas? Just a
Sure.
very short amount, not one-on-one per se, but
Yeah, sort of collectively. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also before we jump into that, one thing that I will occupations to see, I'll Balor, I'll find it. It's in the map. The map actually you can see like the different political like affiliations, whether or not they're allies or they're friendly or sort of more neutral or actively engaged in war. It has everything. I'll find the word. I will toss it on Twitter. It's not annex. It's something else. But so one thing I do want, and some of you guys have done character creation with me before. Some of you have not. One of the things that I really like is having bonds, and that allows players to have some sort of connection to a story or the potential beginning of a story. Like before. Before like we were sort of forced to be like, then you're all sitting in a tavern, and then whatever. Right? We've all been there. It's not that there's anything wrong with that as a means of beginning a story, but I like to have a little bit more meat to things. So as we're going through this, and as you're hearing about the different characters, you may find that there's a character that you like really speaks to you. You're like, that's someone that I think I would know, or I would like to know. And so each of you will have the opportunity to write 2 bonds. I held up 4 fingers, but this is like one hand is a player, this hand is a player. We're all players. Okay. And then you provide that to your intended target, your quarry, and then they have the opportunity to say yes, say no, maybe make some sort of an amendment. Sort of like the go-to one that's very easy is like, one time when I was a kid, I was about to be like, I don't know, crushed by a tree, and you tackled me and saved my life, and we've been best friends ever since, right? But maybe initially it's just one time you saved my life, and then the other person's like, hey, I've got like a little bit of an idea about a story, and that allows you to then have a little bit more to work off of, and maybe that leads you then to a longer discussion. It's like, oh, and that's how when we were like 15 and but actually whatever, now we're in our 20s and went to school in separate places, but we've kept in touch, whatever the case may be. So that's one thing that I like to have. Another thing, these are sort of like the like prereq things, safety tools. Please feel free to put these into, I will say this, for the folks watching, I'm going to have them put it into our Discord chat. So if there's anything that you definitely 110% do not want to see, toss it in there, and I will ensure that it does not happen. So if you got your hard lines, let me know. If you got things that you're a little bit softer about, but would prefer that they don't come up, also please feel free to toss those in there. And then of course, hang on, Katie, I see you. One last thing is the X card. So at any point during our campaign, during a stream, it does not matter if something comes up and you're like, oh, didn't put this as one of my lines, did not realize this was a hard line. Just X, put your hands up, whatever it is, message me directly if you'd rather not like have any sort of like visible thing, or you don't want to say anything, let me know. And we'll take like a 5-minute break, have a conversation, maybe reset, maybe call the session there for the time being so we can sort of have an internal discussion. We can play that by ear as we go, but I do want to have that established so that if you guys have anything that you do not want to talk about, or that comes up and you suddenly find yourself very much in it, we have the option then to take that step back, take a breath, and figure things out going forward. Cool. Katie, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, because I know sort of like with the concept of the character that I've started to percolate on, there is going to be some like familial trauma and, separation of parents and children. I don't want to make that just sort of like a fun, like, oh, she's looking for her kids kind of thing. Like I kind of want to dig into that. So I want to make sure that everyone here is comfortable with those kind of topics before I sort of start to make this character come to life a little bit more. And also, if you're not, you can message me on the side. If you don't want to say it while we're live, that is A-okay.
No, air your traumas live, please.
Can you actually talk about your childhoods? Everyone, let's go around.
When I was 10.
But yeah, that's it. Just wanted to say that and make sure that we're all cool with exploring some darker parental themes.
Cool. Want to discuss a couple of like mechanical things. I do, and then we'll do like our sort of like 5-minute-ish chats. So when I first, I'll give you like a little bit of a preamble because I don't know how to tell a story without some kind of a preamble. When I first started DMing, it was for a group of like 13 people, which is a lot. Yeah. It was a blast. It was an incredible learning experience. I don't necessarily recommend running combat heavy campaigns when you've got 13 people because one round of combat takes like an hour, which is great for learning how to streamline things, but not great for the entertainment value of like anyone who was potentially just sitting around watching, which we had some guests occasionally. And I definitely saw them like glaze over halfway through the first round being like, it's been 45 minutes. Nothing has changed. But one of the things that I did when I first started DMing and then kind of like moved away from as I got more experience. I mean, there are people who've been DMing for, you know, like literal decades, and I've only been playing D&D for about a decade. But one thing that I did that I really enjoyed and would really love to get back to is rewarding like really fun creative descriptions in combat of like ways that you want to do something. So if you're like, oh, we're in a barn, I want to like, if you're like a monk or some shit and you're like, I want to backflip off of this beam and like run across a couple people's heads and then like pile drive this person into, I don't know, a pile of pitchforks, because barns have piles of pitchforks, obviously. Like, yeah, let's do it. We'll, you know, like roll a couple of checks. And then if you're, you know, if you succeed, you know, wildly, like we'll add some extra damage, like let's, you know, try to make it cool, which sometimes can lead to things dying a lot faster, which is also a lot of fun because then we can like kind of move things along. I also plan for us to have, yeah, exactly. Backflip off this cow and then pile drive yeah, exactly. You know, hey, look, you got to do what you got to do, right? People's elbow. It's a devastating weapon. If we're in fights that have a lot of enemies in them, I am very much planning to have sort of like a cleave effect running, so that, you know, if you do, you know, if something's got 5 HP and you do 12 points of damage, that 7 points can get transferred to the next, the thing next to it, as long as it's within range, of course. If you are a ranged weapon user, then perhaps there's, you know, like arrow goes through somebody's head, stick somebody else in the eye. But to sort of keep those things moving, I want to have those in place. I think we'll probably maybe tend towards a little bit more of the RP stuff because I know this group and I think that that's kind of like where people really want to be. But in the event that we do end up finding ourselves in combat, which feels semi-likely, just want to like let you guys know.
Cool.
So with that said, is there anyone who would like to sort of shop about character creation? Do you have questions about the world? Questions about, like, for example, Omar, bugbears, fucking here for it. Absolutely. There's no reason not to. Some people might have reservations about bugbears from their own personal experiences, but I try not to let, you know, like huge amounts of racism sort of like come into the game, because it's just like, it doesn't add anything necessarily. People have their own personal experiences and traumas, and that can lead to more interesting dynamics, but sort of this like, oh, you're not from around here, are you? As like a general sentiment from a town, not great. And can preclude the party from really cool experiences and interactions and like maybe finding interesting stuff. So does anyone have questions?
I have a question. So, well, you asked the person, so it's not like bugbears being monsters originally. Like seeing them walk into town, no one's gonna bat an eye, or is it like maybe some people might, or?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody had a terrible experience with the bugbear, they're probably gonna bat an eye. But I think generally speaking, especially if you're wearing like nice clothes, no, they're, you know, people all over the place. There are actually a couple of the nations in the world are goblin primarily.
Oh, well.
So yeah, so it's very much an open space.
I feel like, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but we want to kind of steer away from any sort of bioessentialism or any sort of ideas that like certain races have different, I don't know, ways of being, or like are stereotyped a certain way, and kind of spend a little bit more time thinking about like socioeconomic structures and political structures and like poverty and wealth gap and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like, yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. No,
Yeah.
Perfect. I love that. So, with your world, Are you it's kind of two questions.
Yeah.
One, what are you incorporating in terms of using all books or using like the new 1D&D stuff, or you're kind of sticking to?
I'm planning. So for my campaign, okay, here's so like bigger picture thing. So yes, for my season, we'll call it. I'm going to use 5e. Any of the books that I have access to, I am completely open to. If there's one that you're like, I really, really, really want this thing, can you get it? I will do that. In the future, because it's worth noting that both Katie and Zeki are planning to DM in this world as well, the systems that they choose to use will be probably different.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love moving characters from one system to another.
Oh yeah.
How
Oh,
does
yeah.
it work? What does it mean?
And I think
Why are you a pony now?
It's crazy how that happens, isn't it?
And I think another thing that we're really trying to do, just because I know we've talked about this in the past, is like we're going to keep every campaign or season that we do set in the same world, but we can potentially have them span like hundreds of thousands to millions of years. So say I was like, I really want to do a sci-fi adventure with like rocket ships and shit like that. And this campaign we're doing is obviously more of like a high fantasy thing. We can say this is that same world, but like X amount of years in the future, and there will still be elements that, you know, remain unchanged in terms of like topography and geography, and maybe there will be some leftover things that like marks that have been made on the world from a previous campaign. I also might be like, hey, I want to do a campaign that happens right after the last campaign, and then sort of engaging with maybe some of the same characters or that sort of thing. But we're really trying to leave it very open to be able to build like a rich history for an entire universe or planet, depending on sort of how far we go, but not necessarily limiting ourselves to this is the type of world that we are in, and this is all we can do, and this is the system, and this is that, you know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I answered both my questions actually.
Oh, good. I don't know what the questions were, but I'm glad I answered them. Omar, since you were sort of talking about your character already, do you sort of want to start with Ben doing a little bit of backstory?
Sure. So all right. So if we have like a hidden backstory, should we? Do you? I mean, or we can still be open about it, or do you want me to like? I do have someone I want to talk to you about, but there's a little aspect that it may be hidden because I don't know how we know each other, and I guess we'll develop that because you may or may not know it.
Yeah, I would say if you want to just send that over to me on Discord, just directly, and then you know, as you guys sort of go through your bonds and figure out, you know, how you know one another, maybe there's somebody who knows about that, and then you might want to let that person in on what's going on as well. Yeah.
So my character, whose name is Alistair. I don't have a last name for him. That's not his actual name, but that is a name that his chosen name that he's going by. He has a dark past, a very jaded past, where he was forced to do things he didn't want to do, and he is atoning for crimes that he's committed. There may have been legends about said crimes that I won't go too much into. I'll talk to you about Ben, but he is trying to atone and has taken a kind of went into solitude and is now trying to go out and be the change that he wants to see in the world. Be the change that he wants to see in himself by doing in the world. And he is I remember one question. What are the deities, the pantheon?
Ooh, so that is a great question, and is somewhat answered by this ridiculous map. Where is it about? Layers. Where is it? Cultures, religions. Where are you?
Where are you?
Okay, I won't do it. I'm not going to do it. One thing I will say is I don't necessarily have them all picked out. I like to kind of leave those open for you guys because I am actually absolutely terrible at creating pantheons. So if there is if there is one that is meaningful to you because of the importance that it might play in your backstory, we can incorporate it. I'm here for it.
What
The
I do
world
think
building-
is important to note, because I think that there's something thematic and interesting here, is that we did talk about sort of like the creation of the world itself and like the universe, and it was very much centered around the 4 elements. That doesn't necessarily mean that like the gods that you follow have to also be centered on the 4 elements, but there is that sort of primal attachment to earth, fire, water, wind. That's all 4 of them, right? I'm a little brain dead right now.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I think again, you don't have to use it, but just sort of knowing that that is the foundation of the world, I think could potentially be helpful. Maybe
So
not.
to provide just a little context also around that, these 4 entities are sort of while they exist in the universe, they also exist outside of the universe. So like the universe that we are going to be playing in is like one of potentially many, and is as much a part of these beings as it is not part of them. So it's sort of like a hair follicle that is like dead and therefore not really part of you anymore, but it's still like on you. And so they're like well beyond comprehension and description, which is actually very funny because because Zeki, Katie, and I are planning on DMing in this world, and we were trying to figure out, like how do we co-create this thing, and we all had very different descriptions of these things, and all kind of like struggled to describe them, which felt very appropriate, and I think will be reflected throughout the game in the way that people do try to describe them to you, depending on where in the world you are and traveling around. So they are, for context, even if you guys hit level 20, the chances that you ever are able to remotely, maybe even kind of sort of make contact with these things is basically nil, right? They are just like so much larger than that like the consciousness that we have and the way that we think about consciousness is not what they have. They're just sort of a disconnect in that existence. Think like kind of Dr. Manhattan, I guess, but like also not at all that, because he can communicate and talk and fuck and whatever else. So it's just like
Get new shows by HBO, and for some reason,
like we need a lot of blue. Okay.
Anyways,
Oh my god.
So
That's awesome. So basically, I guess the light entity or the fire entity would be something that he's drawn to, because he has a juxtaposition of being born in the darkness and having this kind of almost infernal, as much as I'll say in front of the scenes, infernal kind of upbringing, but now is trying to he's torn between his old life and the new. So whatever dark evil entity, I'll say warlock like, and something that would be more like cleric like, he's constantly torn between. So he's kind of going through this. I'm focusing on his internal self. That's why he's like a monk and trying to go towards the light, but the dark keeps pulling him back. His intelligence is basic, but because he's the way he was raised and grew up, he doesn't have a lot of knowledge, but he's very wise. He's very has a lot of like quick catchphrases and metaphors that he uses, and tries to better other people, thinking that it will atone for his past sins. That's kind of the gist of how I'm going for with this character.
okay, I like that.
I already love him.
Sounds like a wonderful character. Oh.
Now, I don't know if there's anything else you would need to know or think of.
Well, I mean, I guess one thing is, given who you are and your background, do you have an idea of where you might want him to be from? I'm assuming that it's he, him pronouns, but that may not be the case.
He, him, and they, them. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So do you have an idea of where you would like Alistair to be from? Do you want like sort of like a colder region? Is he from somewhere hot, somewhere in the mountains or grasslands? So we have all of these different biomes and such. There's a lot of, I mean, it's a big fucking world. So
Probably where he originated from would be like the swamp area, but where he likes to go now is probably like a mountainous, empty sky where he can just kind of zen out and do his. And that's where he kind of got his monk. I guess a monk would have like a monastery. So any monastery that you have in your world that would have accepted him, just out of the streets, is where he would have trained to kind of steel his internal resolve.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, with that in mind, there's this mountain range in the sort of southwestern part of the map, which is, because it's such a big mountain range, is sort of a neutral territory between two kingdoms. So we've got the kingdom of Kar and the kingdom of Angog, which is very much in line. And actually, as you were describing your character at the very beginning, I was like, interesting. I wonder if that's sort of an area to, find solitude and remove yourself from, sort of society as a larger, space, to then like find that peace and quiet to kind of like do the introspection necessary to figure that sort of thing out. And I don't have a monastery there yet, but I can toss one in there. So we will figure out, a lot of the things in this world are still very much going to take shape. And we only did a little bit of world building like 4 or 5 days ago. And I have like a bunch of things kicking around and I've been populating it. But as you guys come up with your backstories, I think the world is going to get a lot more things sort of placed into it. So, a monastery in that mountain range, which also the mountain range doesn't have a name yet. So that's up for consideration and whatnot as well. If any of you have a good mountain range name that you really like, feel free to like toss it my way and we can name it. Let's put a monastery in there.
Awesome. And personality wise, he's been a recluse before and after. So although he's wise, he will definitely be what's this magic, every kind of like whole thing where he's kind of just like, what's this? He doesn't know much. That's why he has like a lower intelligence but a high wisdom.
Cool.
And that's it.
I think that is a good reflection of the pace at which things have been moving in the world in the last like 50 years or so. Do you know how old you'd like them to be?
What are the average age of the bugbears? Because he would be an older bugbear, like an older adult, but I guess like compared to human years, maybe like in his 40s. I don't actually know off the top of my head what a bugbear's lifespan is, but
I think it's like approximately humanoid. I'm sure that there are folks in chat that know that off the tops of there. Yep, there we go. Quizzical says bugbears are human lifespan. See,
okay.
Called it. Chat, y'all are so smart.
Right.
Bunch of cuties.
So like in his 40s, yeah.
Yakaran Mountain Range. Quizzical, if you don't mind, I'm gonna steal that. We're gonna call it the Yakaran Mountain Range. Fuck it. I like
There
it.
you go.
There it is.
You go. Thank you.
Yeah. Chat. Feel free to weigh in. Toss in some names.
Yeah,
I love
help.
it. Like, you are absolutely welcome to be part of this, sort of, I guess like truly the creation story in a lot of ways. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Where do I put you? Confirm 80s. There we go. Sweet. Anyone else have questions, comments, things that you'd like to discuss given your idea for a character?
Why don't you chat to someone who has no character idea and sort of
Yeah,
a little workshop?
Who doesn't have character ideas? Let's see some hands. Yeah. I'm getting a squint from Rachel. I'm getting a shaky hand from Alex. All right, Battle Royale.
Oh, not again.
Again, wow.
Roll the d4.
I have bruises from my battle royale.
Oh, right, because that's right. You were just doing the thing. That's right. This weekend, yeah. do either of you have a preference of who goes
Well,
first?
I submit to the literal professional wrestler. I think you can
Oh,
you
no,
can
no,
take
no.
control here.
Oh, I have no ideas. I'm drawing a blank.
Is there something that you would like to play that you are unsure would fit into this world?
Oh gosh.
Is there like a character that you've had like just kicking around in the old noggin for years? You're like, one day I'll get to play that person.
Well, they're kind of super. I feel like they'd have to be super homebrewed. I played them for a one shot like years ago and just like absolutely fell in love with them. I was kicking around playing this rogue Modron.
What is a Modron? I've never heard
A
of it.
Modron is from the Clockwork World of Mechanus. And in D&D world, every like, oh gosh, this was years ago, and I was like, I just love this little weirdo. The Modron leave Mechanus and travel. They do a march. And a rogue Modron is someone who got lost.
Interesting.
And is like disconnected from Mechanus. I think they exist in the D&D Beyond and like the homebrew stuff. But
They will exist by the end of next year, whenever the books come out. for
Yeah.
that.
Modron March. Oh, such a good thing.
yeah, and just like very similar to Omar's, like, look at this world of just like, oops. And I don't know, I guess like the idea of like this being a very magical world would have just like pulled this Modron, just like, everybody's got cantrips. Can I get cantrips? Can we have that? Their name was Patchwork, and I really loved them like a lot. They're a little like duo drone.
That's
like
so
chillin'.
cute.
I mean, given the fact that there really aren't a whole lot of limits on what you can do here, I have quite literally no problems with you playing that character in this campaign if you'd like to.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I can't remember what class I made them.
Did you say rogue, or did I make that up in my brain?
No, rogue Modron, as in like
Oh.
the Modron went rogue.
I
and
understand.
Because like
Yep.
is now considered defective by Mechanus, and it's just like, okay,
But you
I
could
guess
be a rogue. A rogue.
a rogue. I don't know. I love doing the magic.
Is it too on the nose if you're a Modron that's an artificer, since they're all technical and math and all that stuff?
Oh, maybe. Mag is an artificer
That's
over
true.
in another campaign. I'm wondering, because
Yes.
I'm getting a vague idea that maybe I did this, but even if I didn't, I like it. Going like a sorcerer route, but like super chaotic, almost like playing against the rogue Modron's like law, clockwork, stuff like that. Just kind of like this little chaos being is just like, it doesn't make sense that it's chaotic, but chaos makes sense because
You should go wild magic sorcerer.
like a wild magic sorcerer
wow.
who's just like, but the rules have to be obeyed.
Do you have like a
Oh,
weird
fireball.
gear?
What?
Do you have like a rogue floating gear in
Ooh,
your,
not in place correctly?
That would
and
be
it's causing
amazing.
you to be chaotic?
Ryan, if you're chatting with us, you are muted. I don't know if you were chatting with us or if you were chatting with Adrian. I just wanted to make sure that if you had a
No,
comment.
I was noting that the chat has suggested running them as a tweaked Warforge, which sounds super cool.
Ooh.
That
Yeah,
is
it's
also, yeah,
Ooh.
very much an option. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very cool.
we can do mechanically whatever. Just so I can be like a robot guy, just a little robot guy,
Just like a little robot homie.
a little robot guy, who just
Yeah.
like
Beep, boop.
Would you want to
Cannot.
evolve?
Huh?
Would you want to evolve? You know, like Modron's turn to like
Like
Doodron.
Quadrons.
Yeah. Would you?
Yeah,
Would you
I-
go up
Did
like
you
a
evolve?
Pokemon? Like a Digimon?
Oh,
yeah.
do I have to narrate a Digilution?
oh, and it's just like,
Hell yeah.
this little friend, little Patrick, just like picks up shit all the time, and is just like, let me add that to the body, and it's almost like building out themselves. So like maybe there's like a twig part,
Heck yeah.
some like
You're
rock wheels.
You're like, oh, let me try this and see how this works.
Just like plug this into my face and see how that works.
I'm absolutely here for that.
I like that a lot. That's a lot of fun.
Oh my goodness. that sounds
I'm also
fantastic.
enjoying so far we have two characters that have like a lot of duality to them. I feel like I'm sensing a theme. We've got order and chaos. We've got evil and good. Great. 10-10.
Also, the laws of chaos are laws. You can obey them. It's totally a thing. Yeah, I love it. Do you have an idea of like what you like? Do you want like a little nugget, like a
Wally?
Yeah, like a. Are we talking like a Wally? Or are we talking like an Iron Giant? You know.
Ooh, I do like being a little guy. I do lean in a little boy.
It's actually 2 inches tall. This is it. This is how big I. And also.
Wait, but also that would be so cute. It was just a little 2-inch tall little guy.
Wouldn't you start out as a monodrone at level 1?
Hey
What if she gets
Siri,
bigger
how big
every
is
time
how
she
big is
levels up?
monodrone?
Just like she's 1 inch at level 1, 2 inches at level 2, 3 inches at level 3.
At level 20, you're not quite 2 feet tall,
Yep.
but obscenely powerful.
You do know about 48 words.
You can make full-on conversation with 48 words.
You totally can. 48 words is enough words.
I love the character already.
Wait, I can only speak 48 words? Oh no.
I think that was a joke.
No. I'm on ForgottenRealms.fandom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We don't have
And
to
someone's like,
follow those
"That's all you get."
rules. Fine.
Well, it's just because they're monodrones. Once they like level up and become duodrones and whatever comes next, they become more and more intelligent as they go along. It's like part of their whole hierarchy as like
Yeah, as their function, like as their rank increases, their function within mechanics increases as well.
Cool.
yeah.
I have such a soft spot for them. So Zeki and I, as Zendark in the chat has been saying, we were in a campaign called the Modron March, and they're just, oh man, it's so much fun. I love your character already.
Okay,
we're
cool.
gonna be best friends.
Oh,
Huzzah!
man.
I feel like it's like outcast buddies. Like nobody gets us. It's
Yeah, I know.
fine.
Right? And I'm like
Oh.
super big, and you're like super tiny.
I always just want to be a little guy, right?
It's
Not
like-
a big guy.
Just riding
My
around
favorite.
on your shoulder.
Mhm.
I love it. Do you have any
Eventually.
idea how you may have gotten here?
I would say in the march across the many realms that Mechanus goes through, there could be like a particular path that the Modrons take across. Maybe finding a place where something of particular beauty distracted Patchwork. And it was just like this waterfall.
This.
Just like, and then just this like little spot. And it's like, I guess that's where I'm from now because I'm not from Mechanus anymore.
So cute.
There you go.
Oh, sounds like a Disney movie.
Patchwork has no home. Patchwork will find a home. Oh no, Patchwork's gonna refer to themselves in the third person.
Is that what it is now?
Oh no, Patrick is hi, we are Patchwork.
Oh. And then everyone's gonna be like,
Ooh.
so is this like
Wow.
a hive mind thing or like what's going on?
Patrick doesn't want to talk about it.
Oh boy. Why is Patrick
that-
blocking?
It's that gear.
Ooh, it is that gear. Oh my goodness.
That gear making you crazy.
Just a square gear and a round.
I think that was your cat,
God.
Rachel.
All
Cool.
right. Mr. Alex, sitting over there.
For me,
Yeah.
me
what are you
sitting here
thinking?
patiently in the corner. Well, so I
Oh,
feel like
hello.
look who it is. star of the show.
This is asshole.
Beautiful, just like an asshole.
We've got
For
the
me-
18 and we've got the 18 and
No,
up
we
tag on
don't.
this, right?
I'll
Oh,
put it
boy.
on.
All
I'll
right,
put it
well,
on.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Honestly,
set that bar. I'm gonna
that
set
should
that
just
bar for everyone.
that should just
That
always
should be on all the
It should always
channels.
be on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a my bad
Yeah.
or our bad. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I'm sorry that I did a cuss just now.
Shit.
This
Fuck.
should have been on a long time ago, given the content on this channel.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like whoever I am has the best intentions, no idea what's going on. No idea what's going on. Because I really want to lean into that because I have no idea what's going on here. I'm brand new, so I'm gonna lean into that, you know? I feel like I grew up in the middle of nowhere. Like I'm like the ultimate homeschool kid. I don't know anything about anything. I don't know anyone. So that's what I got so far. Anyone want to bounce some suggestions, ideas?
I mean, I have a question for you. So if you're
Yeah.
you're born in the middle of nowhere, you live in this world that is inherently very magical.
Yeah.
Why leave? Why, like, what is your impetus for doing something other than just like remaining at home in your like small community? Is it a farming community? Is it a hunting community? Like, what's the vibe? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I feel like it's almost just me and a family, like
Okay.
just in a little hut in the woods. And then obviously there's room for a beautiful, tragic backstory there.
I'm gonna
That
kill your
gets me
family.
going. Please kill my family.
Clip it.
No, like truly, I think, you know, if it were me, I would not leave my beautiful idyllic country hut with my family unless something just terrible happened and I had to go.
Gators killed them, I believe.
It was the gators. A giant stepped on them, like something.
Just a big gator farm.
The giant gator stepped on
All
them.
the gators, the human gator hybrids attacked.
I do think Ranger would be a good class, actually, since Derek said that in chat, and I would agree with that.
Yeah, maybe a ranger. I could get behind that.
They got magic.
And yeah, and I have sort of strolled into town wherever we are. Maybe I've been around, and I feel like I have a lot of charisma, but just through like the sheer earnest power. Like I'm not that funny. I'm not that cunning. I'm just like really, please do something wholesome. Yeah. Maybe that's the best that I can do. Something like that.
Okay.
What?
How big of a family are you from? Like lots of siblings, only child, your parents?
Yeah, maybe it's like 2 parents and like 6 or 7 older like siblings. I'm the youngest, I think. I'm the littlest.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Have any of your siblings left, or is it just like a tight-knit family unit and y'all stick together and no one's left and it's like a weird thing to even talk about? Or, you know, like what's the...
Yeah, I think it's been like what it is for a long time, and then something really weird happened and I had to go, specifically me.
Okay.
I wonder, this is just my brain doing brain things, but like I wonder if maybe like your family is sick or something like that, and you're the only person who is well enough to kind of go out and try to find some sort of cure.
Yeah. Like
Something
maybe
like
they're
that.
all like magically frozen or trapped or something.
Yeah.
They're all slowly turning into crocodiles.
They're trapped
scale
in
at a
the
time.
giant crocodile's bird cage.
Oh,
Well, the question that I was going to ask is actually like, why is your family so secluded?
we because everything's great. I mean, we live in the woods. I was thinking maybe like maybe a fur blog. We just like live in the woods. We talk to animals. We forage. We're happy. Like we have everything that we need right in that little family group.
So why leave?
Like stupid idyllic. Like why leave until I must quest out.
Okay, so hang on. Just to confirm, so far we've got a bugbear, we've got a miniature adorable automaton, effectively, because I'm blanking on the name. It's a
Modron.
Modron.
There we go. I totally knew that. And potentially a furbolg.
Not married to that. Could be like
I'm here for it.
Like a gnome in the woods or something. I don't know, but
Also like that.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm loving the just the size differential that we have right now as two very large characters potentially, or two very small characters and one really big.
Either way,
yeah.
I mean, like Rachel, I think I also inherently lean towards a little guy. It's just my vibe. It's just my. But I'm happy to do whatever works for the party, honestly, and build from there. I'm happy to sort of bounce ideas.
I mean, I think as far as who you are and who you're playing, that is depending on sort of the makeup of the group, you might want to think about classes and stuff. But as far as your background, I think you can whatever tickles your fancy. Right? If you see something in it, if Furbolg is really speaking to you and that is the background that you want, don't worry about party makeup in the sense of oh well, if we don't have somebody who's a halfling, so we don't have the luck feat to potentially whatever. Don't worry about that, right? So if you're loving Furbolg and you want to go with
I do love a Furbolg,
but maybe I'm the tiniest Furbolg because I'm the youngest, the littlest Furbolg, that you've ever seen in your life.
Not the Disney movie, the
littlest Furbolg. The little Furbolg that could.
I'm actually pitching a screenplay, but don't worry about it.
This has all been a ruse. I like it. Is your family, are they religious at all?
Well, there's something about nature. I mean, the world is inherently magic, right? So I feel like we just have that nature magic going on. I don't know if we're religious exactly, but we talk to the animals. We talk to the plants. It's a Rachel feature.
I mean, I like it. I like the nature theme also feels very, yes.
Yeah. Well, and it fits the theme of the world, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I got to be specific about why I'm out there, but once I come up with something that's getting me out and about, I feel like that's the core of what I need.
Cool. I mean, one thing that it is definitely something that you guys will come across is that because of how magical the world is, it's not always, it's something for the most part, right? People have kind of figured out how to manage it and work with it and sort of live within the just insanely magical existence that you do. But, from time to time, things get out of hand. So it's also entirely possible that it's not necessarily anything external to you that is causing you to have to go, right? It could be that there is just sort of this rampant chaotic magic that is wreaking havoc on your neighborhood, I guess we'll call it.
Right, yeah.
And, potentially none of you have the means to deal with it. It's well, you've got a couple of your siblings are trying to deal with this thing, a couple are trying to deal with that thing, and, we need you to go, whether it's get help or, maybe we're sort of we can contain it for the time being. We need you to go spend a couple of, years learning how to work with chaos magic or something along those lines. That's sort of very much an opportunity for you to then have a reason to go and be learning and go to maybe a larger city to go try to get into an institution of higher learning, with which there are many.
Yeah, so maybe maybe a wizard or something. Since I got to go study up. Yeah, potential.
Chat says Furbolg Fairy.
Furbolg Fairy.
Furbolg Fairy.
Also, Ben, I don't know if you missed Zendarek's.
I did see that.
Okay, good.
I see you, buddy. I like it. I actually that'd be very funny.
I
Sort
love
of like a. I won't reference any other IP in the space just because for reasons. But I've got an idea of what it is that you're thinking, and I like the idea.
Oh wait, I didn't mean to do that. That was
Just hi.
Hi.
Also, yes,
Cool.
tiniest furball possible, so around 7 feet tall. Truly.
Yeah. I mean, I feel so much smaller than I am because the rest of my family's 10 foot. It's like a golden retriever who thinks they're a lap dog.
I actually really like.
I like that. That's so cute.
I feel like this campaign at this point is just going to be called "We'll Make Great Pets."
That's amazing.
Just wait, there's more.
More animals.
Is that a segue?
It definitely can be, unless somebody else wants to take a stab.
Yeah, send way over there.
All right.
Segue the fuck over there.
I have been kind of perusing the D&D Beyond character builder and have gotten myself as far as my race and class. And I think you are looking at a kobold warlock. So I'll also be a small boy.
Small boys.
I love it.
All the tinies.
But just I feel like it's going to be more like an outcast type background, and I think this character just really wants to see the ocean. Like spending all this time like underneath mountains and like living in caves and stuff, and like hearing from like some travelers this one time, or like the dragon like talked about like flying over the ocean and the vast beauty of it all, and that is what is driving my character. I don't know what's going to happen when I see the ocean, but I want to see the ocean. That is why I left the mountain.
Okay.
I don't have a name yet, but I will get there.
Oh, please have 2 more kobolds and put on a trench coat just once.
I could have friends.
Just one time for the memes.
Just for the memes.
Okay. Heck yeah. We have but can't swim. That's we have let's see. We have it's called the Kos Theocracy, which is in sort of like the northwestern. So it's on the western continent, sort of like in the northwestern section, which is primarily is like the government is run primarily by goblins, and goblins, kobolds, etc. Some like really huge cities. It's one of the larger it's like nations in the western continent. So definitely room for you to be from somewhere around there. I don't currently have mountains in that section, but I'm gonna add some mountains along one of these like borders here. So let's see, add a mountain range.
Oh, maybe underneath what was that name of the mountain range that we discussed?
True. There's also the Akaran mountain range, which would be a little more south, but there are some so it'd be on the so it'd be between the kingdom of Kar and Angog, which would be down towards the south, which potentially means that you have at some point crossed paths with a certain bugbear. I mean, it's a huge mountain. To be clear, this mountain range is like approximately 1,000 miles long, so you could very much have also never crossed paths entirely reasonably, but potentially.
I will cross 1,000 miles to see your kobold.
I mean, that's a.
If I can just see you tonight.
Yeah, I was going with the one that Omar was going with.
All right, fair enough.
I could fall
I was
I
where
don't
Ben. I was with Ben on that one.
Thank you, Zachy. I
Divided
appreciate that.
party. We have split the party.
Uh-oh.
Oh my goodness. We need to have a musical one episode. I'm just telling you. We have such musically talented people in this group. We need to have a
A
musical.
lot of people.
Alex and I
Yeah.
will duet A Whole New World again and suddenly Seymour.
Yeah, every musical theater duet. Throw it out.
It's like absolutely fucking not.
That is fair. That is fair.
Nope.
Well, Ryan, while we're here, because you and I, we have a lot of stuff going on here in our
We do.
our private Discord chat. Do you want to talk a little bit about it while we're here? Sort of like
Sure.
Oh.
So my base idea that the wife sent my way was basically based on what Ben gave us of the world. This kind of tinkerer, engineer, inventor meets magic, basically. An artificer could work, but it doesn't feel quite as right. The like character vibe for like personality wise that she gave me was we're really going to dig deep into all of our like past childhood crushes. The blacksmith from A Knight's Tale, right? So she invents new shit and she's super awesome, but also she'll like laugh in your faces and teach you how to dance at the same time. Right? So she's got those hard edges, but there's a little bit of soft in there. And so I have been chatting with Quizzical Monk, kind of on the side while folks have been doing this, who, for those of you who don't know, creates a bunch of races and classes and things like that, and have kind of come up with potentially, if Ben okays it, some options that could work to create kind of a character in that vibe that isn't just your base, artificer knows magic. And so kind of the place that I've ended up at this point is, I will probably absolutely butcher the pronunciation of the pieces that Quiz gave me, but a survivalist Umanari. And so basically the Umanari being a super, super reclusive species that are very magically inclined, want nothing to do with other people. And survivalists being kind of basically what they sound like, right? You've figured out how to survive to the point where you've survived so well and Mysterious Benefactor has helped you out. And so getting to have some fun and getting to let Ben have some fun, I think, with the idea of a completely weird AF street kid that no one knows what the hell kind of species or creature I am, has done so well at surviving that some Mysterious Benefactor has helped them go to college or, become, some class mobility in terms of their creations. And Ben can play with why the hell I was left in a city and who my Mysterious Benefactor might be.
Oh, I already know who your benefactor is.
Amazing.
Yep. I know exactly who it is.
Okay, so if you're, I shot you the 2 descriptions that Quiz sent me, and if you're comfortable with it,
I'm down. I'm totally down.
Oh, good, I nailed the pronunciation. Amazing. It's because you sent me a guide. If you're down and Quiz is down with it being mildly modified to fit your world, let's play.
I'm here for it. Let's do it.
Cool. Let's do it.
Absolutely.
All right.
I have a sneaking
Have some
suspicion.
fun.
Yeah, there are. We've got a decent idea of who lives in this world, but there's no reason that there can't be, a lot of people out there who just like live in more remote regions, and it's like, well,
Right.
I've never seen them before, but they don't bother us, so we don't bother them, and everyone kind of like coexists. So I'm here
Cool.
for it.
And it lets you can pick a random city near some of the others if need be, and just drop me there, and we'll go from there.
I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, I this is going to be delightful because I now have some hooks in mind.
Dope. I'm excited, and I'm excited to build this, and I think it's going to make for some really, 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 super cool art, because this specific race has a magical crystal that like glows arcane lines through your body. So we can play. We can play.
That's
I
so
am
cool.
absolutely here for this. Heck yeah. All right.
Yeah. I have no idea what I'm going to call her, but details, minor details.
You know, what's in a
Whatever.
name? You know?
Right.
Heck yeah. Okay, cool.
Cool.
So, all right. Do you guys have ideas of like personalities? Like, and, I know we've got a couple.
I haven't
in
talked about my
mind.
character at all yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say also, Katie, you gave us like a teaser earlier. Actually, as I said, I was like, wait, Katie has not actually had an opportunity to talk about hers yet. So, do you want to give us like a little bit of a
Yeah,
snapshot?
I think so. Well, I'm currently Googling what kind of armor druids can wear, so I don't start to create a cleric that can't multi-class. So right now I have a Kalashtar cleric. And I was sort of thinking, I was just doing like a little bit of reading about the lore of the Kalashtar. I think that's how you pronounce it, right? Kalashtar. And they shut up. They seem like they are sort of have their own almost civilizations that they live in. And I was almost thinking sort of like like in Wonder Woman, how there's that island where it's just like almost, I don't want to say like utopia, but like a lot of people kind of living together in harmony, more of like a matriarchal society in that sort of sense. So I feel like she grew up there, very much, I don't want to say sheltered. I think that she learned a lot about the world, but she didn't have any concrete like street smarts, as they say. And I think that I haven't figured out exactly why, but at some point in her very early adulthood, like around 18, 19 years old, ended up going to one of the larger cities, whether it was to study at a university or to just sort of do some sort of like pilgrimage of knowledge that her people do, or I'll figure that part out. And she met a sort of thinking like a very charismatic, very wealthy, very influential man, who she ended up getting married to very quickly, sort of like a love bomby situation where she did not have the sort of understanding of what was going on, because she had come from a place where everyone is really honest and very straightforward, and ended up kind of getting trapped in this marriage with someone who is not a very great person. Would love to explore how unethical billionaires are at some point in this, potentially, maybe. And what Ben and I talked about is, like she has these 3 children. She feels incredibly stifled and feels incredibly like she's essentially forced into like stay-at-home motherhood, which is not that it's a problem, but it's just not what she was trying to do with her life. And she's very much trapped because of the power dynamic, which also I think will be very interesting to explore. And when she was getting ready to essentially take the kids and leave, he found out, and in retaliation he took the kids and like locked her out basically from ever seeing them. And so that was sort of like that was what we talked about. I don't have like a lot more than that. I feel like that's a decent amount to be going with. But she's going to be very different from my usual characters. Very kind, very nurturing, not very chaotic at all. And not very bratty, which is not normal for me. But yeah, that's sort of where I'm going with her. And I would like to, she's a cleric now, but I'm going to multi-class her into Circle of Stars druid.
Cool. So
not horny.
Not.
I mean, she's a normal amount of horny. Okay.
I mean, she's got 3 kids.
She's got 3 kids. There's got to be a little something going on there.
So right now, what are we looking at for classes? We've got cleric, druid. We've got we've got the survivalist, which is sort of like feels rogue adjacent-ish.
Yeah.
Ish.
Builds
Emphasis
things.
on the
Yeah.
ish.
She's gonna quickly she's gonna very quickly multi-class into an engineer.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. What else we got going on here? What are you guys thinking?
Definitely. Well, so definitely starting off at monk.
Yes.
Probably gonna go way of the open palm.
Hell yeah.
And also because also thinking strategically, being a bugbear with 10-foot reach, I can just like pow pow pow, back up, come back in there, pow pow pow, back up. No, I got 10-foot reach, got some long arms. And then of course, like I said, due to the backstory, and we'll see how the story goes, either warlock dip or cleric dip.
Interesting. I like it. So seeing some sort of like strong leaning on a couple characters here towards there definitely being some like deities to be called upon, that kind of thing. I like it. Zeki, Alex, Rachel, what y'all thinking?
I'm thinking of ranger. I think that was a good idea.
Yeah, cool.
Maybe into Beastmaster and
Love
little
it.
woodland friends.
Just like summon just a torrent of animals.
Yeah, very just
Okay.
like. Whoosh.
I love it.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I just really like broken clockwork chaos sorcerer.
I love it. Not broken, just designed. It's a feature, not a bug.
Not meant to be separated from the hive mind. Oh well.
Oops.
I also think that that'll be really fun, considering that we're sort of dealing in this world of like hierarchical systems of just having Patchwork going. This doesn't make any sense to us. Why doesn't everybody just have all the same of everything? Endlessly confused or like
boy.
hoarding wealth.
Explaining not everyone wants the same things for their life to be like fulfilling, and oof. a lot to learn there.
Also, like good familial drama of just like daddy left me behind at a waterfall.
God.
Oh,
Yeah, what
no.
is the family structure?
I would say it's rigid.
Yeah.
There's a joke there.
There is a joke there, and I don't want to make it.
I just watched 5
man.
people look down at the ground sadly and be like, "Why did you do that?" Because I'm morally obligated, also contractually obligated.
I didn't make him sign anything. People out there,
It's not true.
not even a once.
Not true. I did.
Should we roll stats?
Yeah. Do you guys want to roll some stats?
I'll roll some
Those of you that have stats to roll. Oh,
I'm whipping out my
goodness.
special
Are
dice.
those wedding dice, Ryan?
These are the wedding dice.
My goodness. So
Yeah, the non-D&D playing wife knows the key to my heart, and it's shiny math rocks.
that's a keeper right there.
Ooh.
So for those watching and those of you who are here in the call and maybe aren't 100% sure how I normally do things, I like to go roll 4d6 per each stat, drop the lowest of those rolls, with 2 caveats. One is if you roll at like fucking terribly, like a 6 or lower, and it's just going to be detrimental, especially if it happens multiple times. Re-roll that shit. I don't want you to feel like you've got like a bunch of dump stats that you didn't really want in the first place. However, what I will say is that if you would like to take a particularly low score in a stat for the purposes of like personality, or if it's going to be a boon to your role playing, please feel very much empowered to be like, I'm an idiot. I want a 5 in intelligence, and I maybe can't read. Granted, there are no barbarians in this party, so that's probably not that useful for any of you. But I encourage you to feel very much welcome to either not take super shitty stat blocks, because that is not a whole lot of fun, or alternatively to take a really bad stat so that you can play the hell out of your super naive character. Whatever works.
I'm thinking about that. So, I mean, if someone who's not been raised around anything has been forced to do what he had to do, and then just being a monster, he's not very bright, but he's just wise because of his experiences. So I might take intelligence as something really low, but he's not like an oaf because he's wise, but just doesn't know anything.
Yeah, I mean, you can be very much, like a sort of like an old soul kind of deal without being worldly necessarily or being well read, assuming that you can read. Maybe it's a choice that you want to make. I don't know. But yeah, I don't want you guys to feel pigeonholed one way or the other. I also I know lots of folks like the standard array, and I've played with the improved standard array, which is kind of fun. But I like rolling because we like rocks.
I like rocks.
We don't all have an addiction to purchasing these things for no reason, okay? I want to make sure you get to use them.
All right. Oh, this was really good.
And Zendark, thanks for hanging out. Sweet dreams.
Oh, good
Ciao,
night.
friend.
Good evening, Zendark.
First roll, 666.
Damn.
Wow.
This is either going to go really well or really badly for us.
All right, this one's not as hot.
The wedding dice are rolling nice.
Yeah.
It's a good sign, really.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I need to write this down.
Okay. And players, what I will do. So while you guys are doing this, I'll tell you that I plan to do a write-up of all of the different sort of nations in the world to give you a bit of an idea. However, I do not have them fully fleshed out. And if you have ideas, if you're like, ooh, I kind of want to be from that place, but I don't necessarily, we've got some that are already sort of labeled as republics. We have some that are theocracies. We have kingdoms. If you feel really strongly that you want to be from a part of the world that has a specific system of governance, let's chat. This world is our oyster. So I want you to feel as much, sort of like involved in the creation process as I am. And, especially early on, I really like when players make up facts about the world. And I'll tell you, if it's like, okay, we have a thing for that already, and it's like super incongruous with what we've got, no big. But if you're, if you want to make up something about the place that you're from, it's like, oh, we have this harvest festival every year or whatever. Like, let's do it. I love it. I'm here for it, and I want you to feel like you've lived there, so you know things about this place. And unless it's something totally crazy where it's like, oh, we sacrifice 1 in 5 children, I'll be like, that's a little bit dark. I don't know about that one.
Why was that your go-to?
I had to think of something really ridiculous, so that's where my brain went. Child sacrifice, which also is like one of my hard lines, just so you guys all know. I will not be sacrificing children in this campaign. I don't like that. Yeah.
I support not liking that.
Yeah. When they did that shit in Game of Thrones, I was like, fuck you guys. I am not down with this. And I did not watch for a long time, actually.
So I rolled really well, but I do want to take some low. I do want to do that penalty with the intelligence.
Hell yeah.
Definitely, because I don't like to have a perfect character. Not saying stats are decent, but I do want to take that.
Mine are very decent. I had 1 666 roll. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm gonna keep the lowest I've got is a 10, and then the next lowest after that is a 14. So I'm gonna keep the 10 to give her something. I'll play with it, but she's pretty.
Heck yeah.
It's actually real dangerous.
I love it.
Yeah.
If I might take it to an 8, I want to go as low as a 5. I feel like if you throw a mind flayer in there, I'm just dead.
Just hit you with an intellect devour and watch it starve because there's nothing to eat.
Cool. Yeah, I got my lowest is a 10, 2 12s, 2 14s, and then a 19 because I got that bonus to wisdom as a Kalashtar. So,
Oh, that's right. We got to add it to our acro.
Yeah.
Hi, Adam.
What's up, Adam? How's it going?
Okay, so that being said,
Oh my gosh, wait, I'm sorry. Balor, you ended up with nothing below a 14 for a Blood Hunter? That is
That's
very,
wild.
very, very good. Oof.
Is it snowing?
I mean,
Sorry.
you mean in
Here?
real life?
Yes.
Not here, not yet, but
Okay.
it's snowing in Pittsburgh right now.
Those are
Really?
some
Wow.
just yeah.
14, 14, 16, 16, 18. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Oh, where should
Like
we
I
be
said.
posting this?
Ryan just tossed hers in chat so that folks in chat can also see, which
Oh,
y'all are welcome to do.
yeah.
Yeah. Also, so here's the thing that I have never personally implemented, but was on Twitter earlier today, just sort of like browsing through things, and somebody was like, I don't know why DMs like to keep the AC of something secret. And I there are
Nice.
definitely
Easy.
times.
Hell yeah.
Wow. Yeah, there are definitely times where it's like I want you to be like, what the fuck, we can't hit this thing. But also for the most part, having to spend like 3 seconds per attack per person per round being like, does this 17 is just time wasted that adds up very, very quickly. So one thing that you all can expect is that maybe like the first round or the first attack, I won't tell you, but I'll tell you
I think
very
once
quickly.
we hit, it makes
Yeah.
sense, right? Like,
Yeah, even before that, like if it's like something that's pretty generic, I'll be like, you're looking for a 12. Yeah. Oh, there's nothing better than watching somebody be like, what do you mean my 25 doesn't hit? And you're like, yeah. And then of course, conversely, I am absolutely that kind of DM who's like, so does that like 37 hit your AC? And you're like, yeah, I love that. It's my favorite question. Although I do like to keep track of all of y'all's ACs, so typically I don't actually have to ask, but I just like to do it to rub it in.
Oh, I'm totally getting calligrapher supplies. I'm gonna be a painting bugbear.
oh my god, that's so
I
cute.
love this.
I play flute.
I will paint to your flute, to your music.
Aw, that'd be so cute. That could be like how we go to sleep every night. Just like wind down, play a little music, do a little painting.
I'll just be your nightlight.
You can put on like a light show, like just keep strobing.
The one song that Katie's character knows how to play is
Yeah.
Sandstorm by Darude.
We introduced strangers to that song when we were at GeeklyCon.
Fun fact. We were sitting at a red light and this car pulled up next to us. They rolled down there and were like, hey, suggest a song. And I was like, Sandstorm by Darude. And they're like, what is that? And we're like, what? Are you for real? Yeah, apparently they were young enough.
Are you secretly a University of South Carolina like alum? Like
What?
No.
Wait,
That's
why
the-
USC?
Is this the thing?
that's the USC like song.
Really?
What?
Yes.
Huh.
Yes.
Oh.
100%. They play it at every football game. It is
That's
a weird
so
cult-like
weird.
experience. And I say this as someone who just married one of them. Like it is weird.
It was also the song we played for like every like high school event from my high school. Like we like played it for every like football game, every basketball game,
Wow.
every dance, every dance. City Hawkins, winter, formal or whatever, all of them.
Why?
Homecoming.
I torrented it as like a young teen, and I would put it on repeat on iTunes back when that was the thing that I used to listen to music. While I played all of my like side scroller games on Newgrounds and E-Bombs World. I was just hours. I'd have that song just looped. Honestly, that probably explains more than concussions do about my brain being the way that it is. But here we are. Okay, there's also, if you're just like a techno kid, hell yeah. Absolutely. 100%.
I mean, I feel like on that note, Ben, unless you have other things, you should just turn on Sandstorm right now and play us out.
Yeah.
I feel like
Is that in the public domain now?
I don't
Can we
think
do
it
that?
I have
is.
no idea.
Not
Probably
quite.
not.
I think we gotta wait another like 40 years or so.
Oh man.
Probably.
I'll just do, and then everyone else knows. Your brain's doing it now. You're welcome. Yeah. So the final three things that I'm going to send to you guys, just so you are all emotionally, ecumenically, and personally prepared, is I'm going to ask you three questions about your character. So one is something that you wish for, something that you strive for, something unfortunate that has happened in your past, and a secret about yourself that you don't want to share with the rest of the party. I may add more things as we go, but I will be sending that to the group so you guys all know, and I will send that with sort of like the reminder to come up with bonds as you guys kind of figure out your characters and delve into things a little bit. Is there anything else that I want to go over? I don't think so. So feel free to send questions my way as we go. Chat, y'all are here and are smart and know D&D and stuff. If you guys have interesting little things about worlds that you've always wanted to see in a world but haven't had the opportunity to do, and you want to chuck it in here and know that at some point there's a non-zero chance that you get to see that little piece of your heart in this world, please feel free to send it my way. If you want to tweet it at us or tweet it at me specifically. Actually, that's a great segue. You guys probably know where to find me on the internet at this point. But for our guests, we'll go Rachel, Ryan, Alex, Omar. Where can folks find you on the interwebs should they want to interact with you?
On the tubes.
You can locate my presence on the tubes. Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube, all the socials under the handle I am Rachel Quirky. If you want to hang out with me during the daylight hours, I stream every Tuesday and Wednesday, twitch.tv/I am Rachel Quirky. I didn't today. I was in a hole. It's fine. I'm crawling out of the hole today and we'll be on it tomorrow. So come hang out, say hi or whatever. Someone tell me how to homebrew a Modrone, please. Help.
Ryan.
Yeah. I am Ryan. You can find me here, really, only ever, thanks to Katie and Ben. I am also on Twitter at Randerson. It's somewhere up in the chat there. And you can come listen to me talk, tweet nonsense about Frisbee and D&D and ADHD.
Me. You can also pretty much only find me here, courtesy of Katie and Ben. I'm basically a hermit. So come back here and maybe I will appear other places in the future.
You have Twitter, Alex.
I do technically have a Twitter. I do. Feel free to tweet me. Let's see. What is at the Alex Emond.
I definitely tagged the wrong one again.
It's okay. There's 3 of them. They're accumulating over time. I need to really commit to one of my Twitter accounts.
Perfect.
Okay, and I guess that leaves me. Hi, everyone. My name is Omar. You can find me here sometimes when I do the Opera House, which is awesome. I also run A Tale of D20s, which is another TTRPG company, and you can find me my personal That's So Omar on Twitter or at A Tale of D20s. We're doing a lot of cool things, such as our Should Have Had a D8, which is a talk show where we talk to digital content creators. Specifically, we're talking to queer and people of color about how they go about their business and building a community and all of that goodness, as well as our 2 campaigns that we have right now, which is our Starfinder campaign, which runs on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. EST, and as well as our podcast, Descent into the Void, which campaign 2 will be coming soon, and some of you guys know about it.
Whatever do you mean?
Oh, secrets. We have some secrets, but yes. So you can catch me at all those places. That's Omar, and at A Tale of D20s or ataleofd20s.com.
Cool.
Amazing.
Why don't we raid Kat, because I see that she is doing a stream. And I would like to talk to all of y'all for like 2 seconds offline. But let's go ahead and say hello to Kat, who is lovely and wonderful and we love.
Excellent.
And then what do we have tomorrow on this channel? We have Transmog Runs in WoW, which should just be easy and chill and whatever. And then actually, Alex, if you'd like to come, you're more than welcome to. It will be
Boom.
leveled for you. And then Thursday, we have a D&D one-shot with Zach, who you have seen at WoW and also at the marriage game, and Ben and Zeki and myself, which should be pretty random, chaotic, weird. We have not prepped for it at all,
It's
so
gonna be great.
that should tell you something.
It's on brand.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, it's gonna be great. And on that note, let's go say hi to Kat.
Thanks for joining, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.